Okay, so for those of you who just watched my first video back on YouTube, you will see that I could not get Rocky to step up because he was jealous of the other birds. But here he is. This is Rocky. He is a Harlequin Macaw, which is a mix of a blue and gold macaw and a green-winged macaw. Right, Rocky? He's a little bit antsy right now because he does not want to be in the video. He wants to go back to his stand and chill out. Right, Rocky? I want to tell you a little bit about Rocky. Rocky came to me by way of somebody that, it's not that she couldn't take care of him anymore, it's that her and Rocky were not getting along. She loved Rocky with all her heart. Rocky was her baby. She had another macaw, but one day Rocky bit her about 7 years into having Rocky, or 8 years, and he bit her so hard that she, like, you know, as usual, if someone bites you, a bird, you try to get him off, and then Rocky got scared and their relationship was never the same since, and he became very vicious. So birds can become vicious. They're only like 2 generations removed from the wild, so you always have to be very careful. When we called about Rocky, we knew of Rocky because when we took Jersey, our feather plucking, you know, cockatoo, to the vet, they said, we have a bird that someone brought in, would you like to call her? And we did, and just like any good bird lover would do, she warned us. She said, Rocky will never play with you, he'll never come out, and he screams all day, and if you still want to come visit him, come. And we did, and I saw how vicious he was towards her, understandably, and it was hard for her to give him up, but she saw that he was like different with us. Specifically, my sister was there and she was able to like go to his cage without him like attacking, and she said, what would you do? And I said, well, we would bring him home and I would never lock him up because he had been locked up because he was so vicious that he would, you know, attack. And she came to the house and she came to check out that Rocky would have a nice home and saw all of our other birds. And the day we went over there, I told her I'm never gonna lock him up. She said, here's the key just in case he gets really, you know, in attack mode. And I brought him home. I opened the cage. He was afraid to come out. And then the first morning I brought out a treat and he came out of the cage. He never came off the top of it. And then slowly he started coming down off the cage. We were able to at first scratch his head through the cage, and then he kind of got used to us. He knew that we would never lock him up. For those of you that cover your birds at night, and I do, we tried to cover Rocky and it would not work. This was a bird who's been in the cage for so many years that he was so scared of being in a cage again that he just would cry when he's covered at night. So we just couldn't do it. And every night at 10 o'clock, he would stand on top of his cage, which is a really big cage and really high, and there was no way to get him in. So he stood there on almost all night until he found out that we weren't gonna ever cover him again. And now he goes in and out freely. Every morning at 8:45, we put these huge wheels on his cage so we could wheel him outside. And he sits outside with the dogs, so they're guarding him from cats and things and squirrels, although he likes the squirrels. And then we bring him in at night, and for those of you wondering, he has a covering, so no hawks can get to him or anything like that. Yeah, so that's kind of Rocky's life. And then at like 10 o'clock at night, he screams his head off because he is ready for bed. Not that he wants to be covered like a normal bird, he wants me to sing to him. He wants 2 Disney songs or a Mandy Moore song. And yeah, he won't go to sleep unless I sing to him. So he's still in the process of making developments. I speak bird, what can I tell you? She told us that if you sing to Rocky, he really likes it, and he would start doing this with his foot. And since Rocky learned that I'm a singer, he now demands that I would sing by going like this. So there will be more to come about Rocky. I will talk about his temperament and how I trained him and how I got him to be like this after so many years of just never coming out of a cage. And so yeah, Rocky, my baby, is never locked up. He's outside all day long, and when he's inside, he's never locked up. And he's actually, yeah, is actually one of the easiest birds to have because he's got his own thing going on. But remember, a macaw is not a bird for a first timer. And I will go into that in another video on how to choose your first bird.